So he started where he left from KL Rahul, in that BGT tour again. Very solid as far as those, early games. If you see his innings in Perth, his innings specifically in Brisbane, and the way he continued from last tour of England also in 2021, he showed the similar kind of grit here. His first outing as far as this India A versus England Lions are concerned, there was easier situation and condition as far as that Canterbury game was concerned. Not that difficult condition, not the overcast one also, but here at the Northampton, it was Chris Oakes, at first. Josh Tongue was also there. There was George bowling from one end, George Hill was bowling from one end, and Eddie Jack was on the other end, and then Farhan also bowled. But the important thing in this KL Rahul innings was, which I was referring to a Jaiswal video earlier, that his muscle memory, how easily he can switch with formats, how calm he looked. I remember his press conference from Centurion in 2021 where he scored that 100, became the only second opener after Wasim Jaffer to score 100 in South Africa. And after that he said this in press conference that I surprised myself with the calmness I had in that particular innings. Another kind of innings where you can see some early wickets for Chris Oakes, Yashasvi Jaiswal. We can talk about that, whether it was out or not out, whether the ball was going outside the leg stump. But then obviously Abhimanyu Ishwaran getting out cheaply again in this innings also. But after that, the way he stood, he took his time initially. First 50 runs in 102 balls, and then almost playing with 100 strike rate. Look at his first 50 runs and look at his next 50 runs. You'll easily get that how easily he have scored after that. Those cut shots, those drives, those flicks. There were some bouncers at different part of this innings. But it's overcast. As I told you that it was George Hill who at this point of time, currently if you see him, he's done some really wonderful performances last week or so. He did really well for Yorkshire. And apart from him, if you see the way Josh Tongue is bowled, Josh Tongue, yes, very scattery in his lengths, but look at Chris Oakes, the way he was moving that ball, seaming, swinging, everything was there for him. But KL Rahul, he looked so calm, so composed. Just one error, if you see, just after completing his 50, he edged one and it went between first slip and wicketkeeper. But apart from that, there was nothing you can take away from that particular KL Rahul innings. And not a very hi-fi kind of celebration after scoring that 100. He looked again really calm and composed. He wanted to bat long. He was looking focused, and what I said at the very start of this video, that he knows that switch on, switch off button, while going from this format to that format. I talked about this in the previous videos also, that Yashasvi Jaiswal still looking in that T20 mode when there was some kind of a over pitch delivery or some kind of a short of line delivery. He wanted to score runs on that particular delivery. You see a KL Rahul innings here and you'll get to know that how easily he have made those transitions from T20 cricket to Test cricket. And it's looked that he where he left, he started again from there. You call it in BGT or you call it as far as this 2021 England series, where looked really solid and then carried that particular momentum to here. He scored that 100 in England and after that carried it on to South Africa. There was no 100 for him in Australia. There was one, I think 80 or 90 odd in Perth, specifically talking about that second innings. But definitely we as an Indian cricket fan definitely want him to score 100 here. Not only 100, I hope there will be many more. But let's shout out to this KL Rahul innings. What a performance! And the important thing is there's just apart from that one edge, there's nothing you can take away as far as errors are concerned. So big news for Team India as far as preparations concerned before the big Tendulkar Anderson series. Thank you so much.